from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're a member of the Soul Squad or you're just like listening to Soul, or you say, Scoots, I'm just about to catch up and watch Pixar's Soul, I say, well, after that, this podcast will be here for you. It'll be the podcast to put you to sleep because it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that podcast that mispronounces things and puts you to sleep. All right, everybody, it's Scoots here, and right as we're rolling into episode 1000 right around now, thank you so much for all the feedback you gave me about our Patreon membership program, about being a rebel and paying for a free podcast, especially the patrons or the former patrons that reached out and let me know their favorite things and say, hey, Scoots, I think you just need to communicate some of this clearer. And also the fact it's okay not to be a patron. Between the Patreon and the sponsors and the listeners who support the sponsors, that's what keeps the podcast optional. You can either listen to the ad-supported thing, you could join our referral program, or you could join our Patreon, but you don't have to be a patron. It's totally optional, but one of the main things that $10 patrons that listen to the free show and the Patreon show let me know about is the all intro episodes. They love the ad-free episodes. They love the archives. But that was pretty much the number one thing I got feedback about from $10 patrons was that they get all intro episodes twice a month, exclusive just to $10 and $20 level. And there's so many people, they said, I just make a playlist of all intro episodes. I love the intros. And there's also people that love the story-only episodes, all-night episodes. So if you're a $10 and up patron, or you say, hey, I love the show, I get way more than $10 out of it every month, and I love intros, or I love story-only, I love the options you're talking about. Check out our Patreon at sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. It's sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. And if you're already a patron, get that bonus content set up in a podcast app so you can be listening to those all intro episodes. You can say, hey, I start my night with a free one of the episodes from the free feed, and then I go to all intro episodes, or I go to story-only episodes. And that's the flexibility that the membership program offers me on Patreon, is to offer a little bit wider variety. So check that out, sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. Thanks, everybody. Sleep With Me is brought to you by Progressive. Are you thinking more about how to tighten up your budget these days? Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save over $700 on average, and customers can qualify for an average of 6 discounts when they sign up. A little off your rate each month goes a long way. Get a quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed in 2020. Potential savings will vary. Discounts vary and are not available in all states and situations. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, BetterHelp. You know, I've talked about my own journey with my own mental health, my own use of a licensed professional therapist, because I guess I want to normalize it for you and say, yeah, it's not easy. 2020 and 2021 have not been easy, but I want to empower you to take steps to take care of yourself, whether you're feeling depressed, you're struggling with your relationships, you're having difficulty sleeping, meeting your goals. Tonight's sponsor, BetterHelp, offers online professional counselors who can listen and help. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours. It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online. There's a broad range of expertise available, which may not be locally available in many areas. The service is available for clients worldwide. You can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor. You'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. In that way, you won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. And BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available. In fact, so many people have been using BetterHelp that they're recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. And people close to me, people in my personal life, have utilized the services of BetterHelp, and they are really happy with it. And our podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and our listeners get 10% off their first month of online therapy at betterhelp.com/sleepwithme. Visit betterhelp.com betterhelp.com/sleepwithme. That's betterhelp.com/sleepwithme, and join the over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced BetterHelp professional. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, it's time for the Sleepy Supporter Zone, the one part of the podcast I need you here. It's where I pop my peas, if you please. It's where I thank the listeners who supported the sponsors and elevated their sponsorship by letting the sponsors know about it. Our sponsors are direct response, meaning they're not paying for you just hear the ads and feel good about them. They're paying for direct response, I guess. They look at how many people used our code, how many people heard about them and took action. So that's really why I take this time, because I am so thankful to listeners like Chrissy, who supported Progressive, tweeted about it, and said to Progressive, hey, I renewed my insurance because of your support of Sleep With Me. So thank you, Chrissy, for letting Progressive know about it. If you want to support a sponsor, tag them, tag me in a social media post, email them, call them, and then let me know about it at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsor so I can thank you here on the Sleepy Supporter Zone like Chrissy. The second part of the Sleepy Supporter Zone is you getting the support you need. There's organizations you can connect with right now in the show notes internationally. So please use those resources if you need them. It's about being a part of positive change too, being a part of the communities, the community around the show, the community you live in the community of our entire planet. And that does mean trying to be a part of positive change and saying Black Lives Matter with our actions, saying stop AAPI hate with our actions, and saying more with our actions, and saying, I support you. I know I need to change my behavior, and I see you struggling out there. So there's links to organizations where you can learn more, including one organization I'd ask you to check out and support. They've got petitions, and they've got action items. You can follow them on social media, and that's 1,000 Women Strong, 1K Women Strong on social media. There'll be a link to their link tree in the show notes, and 1,000 Women Strong is a national constituency centered around the civic and communal advancement of Black women. They get it done. And if you've thought about the student loans and student loan debt and how that plays into to positive change and what needs to be done, check out 1K Women Strong. And that is the end of the Sleepy Supporter Zone, which is now over. Oh, Mystery Bart, a lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Posty poster son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Carl W. the lecture. Also edits episodes. Kenny, Scotty, and Jennifer. Eric and the team let us down. They're on the website. I am the mystery bar. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Hannah like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. Don't forget to sign up for our newsletter, sleepwithmepodcast.com/newsletter. What do you say we slow it down and get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake. Could be thoughts, things you're thinking about on your mind from the past or the present or the future. Could be physical sensations, anything your body's telling you in a subtle or not so subtle way. Could be feelings from the past, present, or future too, or not so subtle sleeper next to you. Whether it's a human or a furried friend or a friend with fur. They're not always the best bedmates. And all of them seem to snore. You say, I can hear Koa. I can hear you snoring in the other room. And it just makes my heart warm because I love you so much and having that distance. But not everybody's so lucky than to have a dog that loves sleeping in their daughter's bed. But whatever's keeping you awake, I'd like to take your mind off of stuff and keep you company while you drift off. That's my job. That's what this podcast is. So what I propose to do here, I'm going to try to create a safe place, like I said, where you could set all that aside. And you could set it aside before you enter, once you enter, or after you enter. We've got, I've talked about all the cubbies we have, but we also have racks. We have overhead racks and underhead racks and, plenty of other racks. Holy cow, vertical, horizontal, longitude. Do you know we're the first safe place with longitudinal racks and latitudinal ones? And I don't even know what that means. I just talked to the great rack makers of the world. I said, rack makers. Make us multiple types of racks, especially racks that have not been invented yet. You may see that in one of the other Marvel movies that doesn't ever get released. I see, because I had to go, go into the fan fiction machine and into the world of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And it turns out that only Thor can call, I forgot the name. I wanted to call it Ratchet, but the one person whose name I can't even remember, it doesn't like to be called Rabbit or whatever Thor was calling it. Also, when you forget its name and it's a sentient being from another world. I mean, I said, well, you just call me Starboard if you want. And they said, well, this is a spaceship, so we couldn't use that because it would be terribly confusing. And I said, I don't know why, I don't even know what Starboard means anyway. But I said, when you went to find that Thor's thing in the middle of that one movie, is there some sort of planet like that or a universe like that where they make racks, where I could say rack makers, make me a rack? And then they said something about racket. Then some part of my brain said, "Oh, you're in the middle of starting an intro to a sleep podcast." I said, "Oh boy." I was hoping I would think of the name of that. I said, "How do I forget the name of that every single time? I'm so sorry." Something said Rocky, but it's not Rocky. I said that's from a Beatles song, so that's not correct either. Are you sure it's not Ratchet? It's something, I thought it was something like that. So you got, let's not get into it because I'll forget all their names. I said Ratchet and Clank. I'm familiar with that. So anyway, sorry about that. What I'm going to try to do is create a safe place. What I was trying to say is we got these new longitudinal and latitude changing, they said actually he's a fan of, my brother and me. So you can't say changes in latitude, changes in your tude, because they said that's already a song, and it's actually technically the restaurant uses it, and you already used another song in there. And I said, well, our latitudinal, I can't even speak anyway, so it doesn't matter. I was going to say something about our latitudinal racks, changing your attitude to the max. We could probably say that, though. Oh, but I got to get back to the end. So I'm going to try to create a safe place by sending my voice across the deep, dark night. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, in superfluous tangents. You just witnessed a bunch of those in a row. And, I'm going to go off topic. I'm going to get mixed up, all to take your mind off stuff and put you to sleep. Why? Because you deserve a good night's sleep. That's why. Really, you might be new and you might say, is this a bunch of fluff? No. You really deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a place where you can get some rest. And that's why I make the show. Because if you get the rest you need, your life's going to be better, and that's important to me. And it's also important to me to intervene if I can, because I know how it feels on the other side. Tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep. All of those things I check off on the old checkbox. Temperature not suitable for sleeping anywhere on planet Earth. Got that one, too. Can hear my dog snoring in the other room. Check that box. Whatever's keeping you awake, that's like I've been there. Maybe not everything, but I know how it feels. That's why I call it the deep, dark night. And you deserve a place in a bedtime you could either look forward to or at least feel, feel ambivalent about? Is that a good thing? I'm not exactly sure. Versus dreading it. So that's why I make the show. You really are important. That's why I make the show. Now, the other things, after I say that, I got to tell you, I got to give you some heads up. So this podcast does not work for everybody. It actually doesn't work for most people. And the people it works for say it takes 2 or 3 tries to get used to the show because it's so different. I mean, you maybe just got to know me over the past 8 minutes and you say, okay, you're different, clearly. Is it Rocket? Is that the name of it? Did I say that? I think it is Rocket, the raccoon being. So at least I got that sorted out. But what was my other point is, what else did I not have sorted out? So, what do you need to know if you're new? That's different about the show. This is a podcast you don't really listen to. You don't have to listen. You could just kind of barely listen if you want. You could lie there. You can listen, but listening is optional. And at first, it's probably preferable to kind of look at the podcast like it's clouds drifting by. So just listen loosely if you can, but that takes some getting used to because you're used to listening to stuff and trying to make sense of it. This podcast, mostly nonsense. The rest of it, I'm mixed. If it's not nonsense, that means I'm mixed up trying to remember stuff or going off topic. So it's a podcast you don't listen to. Also does not really put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company while you drift off. I'm your bore friend, your bore bae, your bore cuz, your bore sib, your bore bud. Your boardian of the galaxy, your starboard. Starboard. Yeah, that's what they said. They said this is the vacuum of space, but we're going to still send you off starboard. And I said, I feel like Goldie Hawn. Oh boy, do I. And they didn't get that joke. I said, I think James Gunn would probably got that one. But they looked at me quizzically. Anyway, get back to, let's leave the fan fiction aside here. So, it's a podcast you don't really fall asleep to. I'm here to take your mind off stuff, and then suddenly, ideally, you drift off. Now, the good news is, if you can't sleep, I'm going to be here to the very end to keep you company. That's really my most important goal, is to keep you company so you don't have to listen to me. I'm your one friend you could call on, and you don't got to pay me any attention, any mind. So that's, so I think that's, okay, don't listen to me. No need to pay any attention. I won't really put you to sleep. I'll just keep you company. Structure of the show. Show's very structured, very different than most things, and that's intentional. Starts off the greeting, friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So you feel welcome and invited in and seen because you're important and your sleep's important. Then there's support, listener support, community support, and support for the show. So that you feel supported, you have some options, and the podcast can be free and come out twice a week. Then there's the intro, which goes on and on and on. The intro is like a show within a show that never ends and never gets started, or it could feel like that if you're new and you're waiting for it to get started. But the intro serves a very deliberate purpose. It gives you time to wind down. It's different every time. So whatever parts you are keeping you awake, don't know what to expect, that way you can barely kind of listen. If it was the same every time, you'd go from barely listening and then saying, wait a second, if we're barely listening, then either we've turned into Yogi the Bear or a Care Bear, or why are we barely listening? I thought we were barely kind of listening. So that's why the intro is different every time. The reason it goes on and on and on, kind of, for 10 to 20 minutes is to give you like a transition period from your daytime to when you want to be asleep. And some listeners, 3% skip the intro. The rest of the listeners use it in different ways as a part of their wind down routine. Some percentage of listeners are falling asleep. Oh, don't they look so cute right now? But most listeners are either getting ready for bed or they're in bed getting comfortable or they're doing some sort of other evening wind down activity. So that's the intro, like a landing pad for bedtime. Then there's business between the intro and the show. And again, that's how I'm able to be here for you twice a week. Every episode's over an hour for free. Those sponsors. Then there'll be our story. Tonight it'll be an episodically modular series with a touch of seriality, Lady Witchbeard. Speaking of Gamora, that we didn't speak of, but Lady Witchbeard is also green. And I'd say they both could buckle a swash without a problem. They could swash a buckle, either one of them. So that's that part. And then there's thank yous at the end. So that's the structure of the show. That's why I make the show. It is a bit different, but I'm glad you're here. I work very hard. I yearn and I strive. And I really hope I can help you fall asleep. And thanks again for coming by. And here's a couple of ways I'm able to do this for you free twice a week. Hey, everybody, Scoots. Before we move on here, I just want to let you know about sleep phones. I don't know if you've ever checked out our sleep phone store lately, sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. We've got custom sleep phones. We've got a bunch of new bands you could check out. It's the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me. Soft headphones in a headband, perfect for bedtime. They have 3 different models, a corded one, a wireless one, and then one with wireless charging. Listeners love them. I love them. I run in sleep phones. I use sleep phones when I sleep on the road. I keep a pair in my suitcase all the time. And you could get yours, the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me, at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. And be sure to use the promo code Sleep With Me. And it'll save you a little bit of money on your order. That's sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. And use Sleep With Me at checkout. Thanks, everybody. All right, everybody, Scoots here, and it's time for our episodically modular series with a touch of seriality, with a hint of seriality, an undercurrent of currants and vanilla, and just the essence of figs, because, oh boy, the figs make so many things better. I wouldn't say everything better, but figs are great. But what was I saying? Oh, it's time for our episode. I thought maybe I was introducing a podcast. I'm introducing a series. So it's time for our episodically modular series, Tales of Lady Witchbeard. And maybe I'll let Daw catch you up on what's happened so far. So don't worry. If this is your first episode, you'll know everything you need to know. But basically, all you need to know is a Lady Witchbeard. I think I said no wrong, but all it might be helpful to know. Lady Witchbeard is a witch and a pirate. She was born in a witch world. She moved to a pirate world, or a pirate realm. And she's awesome, as you could imagine. And she's traveling. Currently, she's in the world, I guess I will catch you up, of the world of the 13 Seas with Daw, her sidekick, and Don Dankle, who she was once Don Dankle's apprentice, and no longer. They're in search of someone named Brandy, who they found and lost before, a mysterious person named Brandy. And also there's something about a man who loved the sea, who's connected to Brandy. I think they thought they were going to rescue Brandy or something. I'm not exactly 100% sure. But Brandy turned the tables on them, took their ship, took the pirates that were part of Don Dankle and his crew. And that's all they've really, other than that, it's very Sleep With Me series so far. They discovered a ship with mining equipment. They followed that ship more or less. They found out that the ship was mining some sort of root as opposed to mining gold or something. But they said this root is worth more than gold. to someone. We don't know whom. Then they went to Library Island to find out more. And they dealt with a sentient book, but that's when Brandy turned the tables on them. So she seems to be up to something. Not sure what she's up to either. And she's looking for some other ingredient, nudie poo, like the poo of newts, I think is what nudie poo is. It could be also a candy. You know, people name candy stuff like that. They say, what are you eating? Oh, nudie poo, man, it's the best. Oh, is that like unicorn droppings? And I say, I don't know, I haven't had that one. Sounds not delicious, but intriguing and could be delicious. How's nudie poo? I got the generic one. I didn't get 100% Sleep With Me brand. Nudie poo. And it also sounds strange saying it too many times. But unicorn droppings, they say, can you come up with anything flashier? No, people had trademarked all the other ones. So the only trademark left for me was unicorn droppings. One word, actually, unfortunately. And turns out no one wanted to buy it anyway because it was another imaginary product. So I don't know, not much happened. So right now, or before where we are now, Brandy left with the pirates in the ship, Lady Witchbeard's ship, Don Dankel's ship. Lady Witchbeard's ship had sunk. And her crew was absorbed with Don Dankel's crew, who I would presume is now Brandy's crew or someone else's crew. Oh, there was also another shipload of pirates. So there's probably 2 shiploads of pirates out there with Brandy doing something related to either nudie poo or a binding agent. And then Lady Witchbeard, Don Dankel, and Daw are at Library Island. They were resting, and I guess they're probably going to try to, I don't know what they're going to do. So I guess we could find out more. And here's our Hollywood announcer who drives all the way from Los Angeles area, he wants me to say. Not that's not throwing shade at anything. He just wanted me to be more general. Well, is it the region? The Los Angeles region? The greater Los Angeles area. Okay, greater Los Angeles area. Wouldn't it be, could we say Los Angeles metropolitan area? Or Los Angeles metropolitan region? He's now rolling his eyes with me, which makes my heart aflutter. When he rolls his eyes, swallows swoon. I don't know if they're in Capistrano. Is that in Los Angeles, greater Los Angeles region? He shrugged. Without further ado, it's our Hollywood announcer who in his spare time, and this is his one hobby because it takes up all his time. Twice a month, he drives all the way up here and sits in his car till I text him that he may come in. And I say, how did you know I texted you if I told you to keep your phone inside 3 socks on vibrate? And then he says, hardy har har. So without further ado, the one, the only, the amazing, and Mr. Antonio Banderas. Thank you, Scooter, for that introduction for sure. The friends beyond the binary, the ladies and gentlemen, the boys and girls. It's time for the tales of Lady Witchbeard. Yeah. Wow, was that like someone, sounded like that was some sort of metallic power. They were swinging. Okay, that's what I like. Do you want to try to do another take on that? This tales of Lady Witchbeard. Whoosh, yeah. Okay, that's perfect. But we'll put both those takes in so the listeners can kind of they can bask in your glory. Get that? That was a movie. That was half of a movie you were in. And I didn't get that, but thank you. All right, that's Mr. Antonio Banderas. This is Tales of Lady Witchbeard. So Don Danko, what are you reading? What do you, Don Danko? Oh, sorry, Don Danko. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just interrupting you to see what you were reading. Because I was just wondering if you've ever read Wizard of Earthsea, because that's what I feel like right now. And I was going to, because Lady Witchbeard won't really speak to me. She'll only speak, but sorry, Lady Witchbeard, go ahead. Don Danko, have you found anything that's useful in your myths? No, Lady Witchbeard, I'm still looking, and I do need to focus, because it's hard, believe it or not, it is hard to read on a rocking small boat. This boat that we're in is very small. It's a good thing the library had it, but also, I guess, very similar to Daw, I've never been in a spell-powered craft. Are we going by, would you call it a spell wind or a wind spell? It's a wind spell, Don Danko. Yeah, so I've never been propelled by a wind spell before. Also, the idea that Daw's running the rudder. I realize you have to focus on the spell casting while I focus on getting to know these myths to try to help since we have all this time. And Lady Witchbeard, it would be a huge help, though, if you would interact with Daw for me so that I can focus on these books. And just for the quest, for the love of piracy, please interact with Daw so I can get back to my books. Okay, Don Danko, as what I believe is, I could have made you my apprentice, but I think we are, pretty much equals here on this craft, but equals with different roles currently. So I will try to put up with, so Daw, just I do need you to focus just on that compass. So don't take your eyes off the compass. Please don't look at me when I'm addressing you. I realize it can be tedious, but I do need you to, that line that I put on the compass, that's where I need you to head for while I kind of focus. I can't now, and if you agree to keep focused on that, we could speak to one another. Okay, Lady Witchbeard, I'm focused, yeah, I'm pretty good at rudder. I mean, what is this called? Am I running the rudder? I wish we had a boat with, one of those big, what were those called? Ship's wheels or whatever? Steering, it is a ruddering wheel. Is it a ruddering wheel? Or, I mean, sometimes, every once in a while, I do get mixed up that I got to go the opposite direction. But I think because like you said, Lady Witchbeard, no sudden movements. I'm on it. I do have it down. I do think I need to change my arms every once in a while. But now I forgot all the questions. I mean, I mostly had questions for Don Danko about Wizard of Earthsea. I mean, I guess what I could do, we could talk about what our plan is, because, oh yeah, I guess I have questions about this mysterious strait we're going into, because every time my only frame of reference would be the Bermuda Triangle, the way you were all talking about it. What is it called? The mysterious straits, the strange straits. When I was a kid, the straits were the ones, it was different straits they ran. I think it was the James E. Straits show. They ran the Midway that I would go to as a kid at the New York State Fair. Thank you, Daw. So, Daw, I do know what the Bermuda Triangle is because you told me about it while you were talking outside my window one day years ago. This is different. So this strait connects two of the big seas. It's always been... I can explain to you what I think, which is probably what the truth is, but I could be wrong. And I don't want to put any ideas in your head. So the reason this strait is so famous is because it's so frustrating. Because it cuts through a very large landmass connecting two of the 13 seas. But the strait is always bathed in fog because of the weather patterns and the temperatures of the two seas. And it's a somewhat narrow strait now. It's wide enough for ships to go through, but not in the fog. But every few years, someone gets it in their mind that they can get through the strait, and that then they will map it in a way or chart it in a way that it will become navigable. And that never has proved to be successful. But to answer your Bermuda Triangle questions, one of the ways they try to prove it is they send wood through or, other things through, and they can observe them passing through. I don't think they always realize that the change in the flow between the two seas is bidirectional and seasonal and weather-based, but not the same every season, which is some of the things in your world are similar, like behaviors, weather patterns. And there's always the idea, particularly among certain bootstrapping style pirates, that they're going to be the first ones to do it, and they know better than the warnings. So there really isn't a mystery. The only mystery is, why would you do it? It doesn't work. Well, it's going to save, 2 months' time. And, if our company controls, the traffic through the strait or the maps in the passage, that we would, instantly become super wealthy, because it would become a area where commerce could be done. What I did not know at all was that somewhere in the strait, in the fog, which would be easy to miss, is yet another, but it makes sense, other canyons or tributaries where some of the water from the land masses on either side would naturally flow into the strait and into the seas. And it turns out that one of these ravines or canyons or crevasses somewhere along the strait. And according to this map we have, which is not super, it's just a hand-drawn thing, somewhere on the strait, I'm assuming on the left side, I'll use your terminology. I won't use starboard or leeward or any of those. But that's where this canyon or strait is, that has this material that we believe Brandy needs or is looking for. And we're going to get there. We're going to get there first, because I think we haven't seen them in the sea. But the way the winds are behaving currently, they would have had to go much south of here and then come in along the coast to avoid they just can't travel by the wind spell. So we're going to get there, and we're going to get there first, and I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do. I'll be honest with you, Daw. Well, and you could see, here comes you could see the fog kind of spilling out, just sitting off the coast. It just looks like a strange mini bank of a mini fog bank. Okay, Lady Witchbeard, let me ask you some questions, though. Is it so boats go in and they don't come back out? Is that correct? That's correct, Daw, but there has been parts of boats that have been found coming out. So it doesn't, the boats, not all ships or boats that go into the strange straits disappear all the way. And there's no radio. So this isn't going to be as cool as going into Bermuda Triangle. It's just going to be going into something foggy. Correct, Daw. So how are we going, how is Brandy, and then how are we going to navigate the strait? I mean, we have a smaller boat, but even what you're saying is no boats have made it through? No boats that we know of, Daw. So how are we going to make it through there? Well, Daw, I've been thinking about that a lot, and I have an idea that Don Dankel, I'm going to need you to put your books down because this is going to be a 3-person idea, and it's going to take some teamwork. And Don Dankel, you're going to be a big part of this plan. Okay, Lady Witchbeard, I don't really have any new information from what I've been reading other than... Well, go ahead, Lady Witchbeard. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. As Daw said, we can't just go in there without, it's too risky to just go in there. Part of me wants to wait just inside the fog and see what Brandy does, but I think that, again, they could easily see us, and they have a full 2 ships, and they could easily do away with our little craft. We'd also have to deal with the shore. It'd just be, we don't have a powerful enough anchor to just sit there. And even then, I don't know if it would work. I don't know how long it's going to take them. My goal currently is to find this crevasse and then assess things, or this canyon. So here's what I'm thinking. We'll create a balloon because Daw, I know Daw loves balloons, don't you, Daw? I guess, yeah. Oh, sure, Lady Witchbeard, I love balloons. And I can, don't worry, I can create a balloon that'll float up in the air. We have some sacks, those water sacks that we got from the library. Those are watertight. That means they're also mostly airtight. So we're going to have a balloon. We'll send a balloon up, and towards the top of the balloon, we'll have the balloon reach up again above the fog. And at the top of the balloon, we will also tie a piece of twine, and that attaches the spool of twine we have here. This is supplies we got from the library. And up in the sky, above us, and will be someone flying, who I know does not like heights, but is the only person I would trust to fly right now. Just because I feel like if I leave Don Dankel and Daw in the boat, I don't know. I think I have a general idea. I can kind of control the boat a little bit, right? So Don Dankel, basically, I know you don't like flying or the idea of it, but you'll be fine. You'll actually just be looking at a pillowy cloud of fog. You won't be looking at the ground. And you could just fly up above the fog and imagine you're very close to a pillow. And you will be holding the string that's attached to the balloon and letting the string slowly run out. Okay, Lady Witchbeard, I understand so far. And from up there, you should be able to see where, you should be able to see. No one's tried this as a bird because I'm the only one that I know of in the 13 seas that could be a bird. And I guess no one's been looking for this crevasse either. But so you should be able to see the places where the fog breaks off. So you're going to look at the biggest one. This one should be, according to this map, it looks like it leads, it looks like it's longer than any of the other tributaries on this map. It's the longest canyon. So look for a small vein of fog that should dissipate eventually, and then land there, and then pull at the balloon. Okay, Lady Witchbeard, then what are you going to do? Well, then Daw and I will follow the string, and at the same time, I will be using some magic to make sure we get there. And again, it's a one-time use. It's not like we're mapping. I want to be respectful of the fog. So I'll be working with the fog instead of trying to overpower the fog or cut through the fog. I'll be communicating with the fog, basically. And I know Dom might have Earthsea questions. You know, can I befriend the fog? Please, Daw. It's going to take a lot of focus for me. So how does that sound, everybody? Does that sound like a plan? That sounds like a plan to me, Lady Witchbeard. Lady Witchbeard is Don Dankle. I trust your judgment. I'm not looking for... What kind of bird will I be? Will he be some sort of crow, Lady Witchbeard? No, Don Dankle. You're going to be you'll be a raptor because I need you to be powerful, and I also need you to have those big feet to be able to hold on to this spool. And the stick, it'll be in between it. So you just hold on to the stick on either side, and that's it. Maybe use one of your, like, thumb type of feet to, like, control it rolling out, you know, so you don't take out too much string at once. All right, Lady Witchbeard, I'm ready. Okay, Doc, like, okay, I'll just use my motions, and I'm going to put this paste on your back, and... there you go. And then just wait for us and tug on the balloon, and we'll be there. Okay, Lady Witchbeard, I'll see you soon. Lady Witchbeard, I don't quite understand the mechanics of this. Okay, Daw, I'm going to start us heading towards... I'm going to be talking to the fog silently, not in a way that you'll be able to hear it, but I'll be communicating with the fog. Lady Witchbeard, will it help you if I talk in a positive way and brainstorm? Because I know sometimes having another part of your mind occupied helps you focus. Okay, Daw, you could do that. That's fine. I'll be focusing, so I probably won't be answering you. Okay, great, Lady. So, Lady Witchbeard, I guess my first question is, well, this is cool. We're surrounded by fog already. It's a good thing you told us all to bundle up. But I do wonder if I need to apologize for being me, or if we could get to a point of it where we all accept one another, right, for ourselves. And then I was thinking about maybe sometimes my goals and my intentions get in the way, and I create obstacles where there aren't obstacles. Also, I was thinking about the movie The Worst Witch, Lady Witchbeard. And I don't know, maybe we talked about it before. I don't really remember anything about it other than the Tim Curry sings in it parts and that he's flying, but I think he has sticks like in his cape. And I said, that's interesting. I think he has sticks in his cape. Just so when he flies, he looks more bird-like, but he's not a bird like Don Dankle. But I don't really remember anything else. And then it's like there was like almost like a music video. But sometimes I feel like the worst witch, you know, but even though I'm not a witch, I was just trying to figure out that magic. But then I was thinking too, Lady Witchbeard, as far as trying to help you focus and come up with ideas, is what are you, like, what are we doing? I'm really confused by it. Like, I'm trying to figure out, Lady Witchbeard, what you want. What that has to do with Brandy before and now Brandy. And if I was answering for you and guessing, I'd say, okay, Lady Witchbeard would say, I want to be a pirate, Daw. I'm a pirate. I'm a pirate and I'm a witch. I'm a pirate witch. I'm a witch pirate. And I'd say, okay, Lady Witchbeard, so what do you want to do? Because most of the time we've spent together, you've either been at a bed and breakfast recouping or on adventures that I wouldn't say go so much with piracy, like dealing with Hernan Cortez and saying, hey, stop what you're doing, you know, like even though that wasn't even in the exact, I don't know, that was in some other different whatever timeline or something. And then now with Brandy, like, here's what I remember. I played you the Brandy song, and you said, this is familiar. This is a myth from the pirate realm, maybe the witch realm. I don't remember. And you said, okay, Brandy was a man who loved the man who loved the sea. And so we should go and help her find the man who loved the man she loved who loved the sea, apparently more than her. And even then, I wasn't exactly clear on what the plan was. Like, were we going to, were you mad at the man who loved the sea more than Brandy? And I said, well, it doesn't seem like it. Did you just want to help Lady Witchbeard? Or, I mean, did you just want to help Brandy? Like, is there some sort of, like, do you love the idea of love, but you cover it up, with a thick veneer? And then there was a whole thing with the guild and you being an apprentice pirate and not wanting to be an apprentice pirate. And then I was like, well, maybe Lady Witchbeard, I just kind of threw you off, like, ever since. But again, I said, well, if you didn't want me around, you would have done more than just ignore me. You would have said, Daw, you're fired. So I don't know. That's what I'm confused about. Like, and then I said, well, no, Lady Witchbeard likes a quest or a mission, and Brandy was a quest. Help her find the man. Like I said, oh, wait a second. She's saying that Brandy lives in our world, but the man who loves the sea had been in my world and your world, the 13 seas and the land of, I don't know how many seas I have in my world. I can never remember. And I would always miss one anyway on the tests. 7 seas, I think maybe that's what they say. And maybe there was maybe it was like, maybe I'm looking for all the answers. And when it said, well, there's a bunch of answers that are adding up. Adventure. When you're on an adventure, you could do pirate stuff. You get to be on the sea. If you were in the middle of a mission, the pirate guild would have probably ignored you. And you love that kind of stuff more than anything. And then there's kind of the idea that maybe it was a quest that doesn't have an answer. Like maybe that's part of the thing. It's like an impossible quest. And finding the man who loved the sea and reuniting. And they say, well, what if they don't get along? What if, so maybe it's one of those things. But I don't know. I mean, I guess you're focusing on the fog. I could see your lips moving even, but, so I couldn't figure out if you're after Brandy or the adventure or the piracy or the man who loved the sea or exposing a myth or investigating a myth. Now you got Don Danko reading all these books of myth. But then it's like one of those things that I'm like, well, what does Lady Witchbeard really want? Because sometimes I get busy, and then I say, what am I, that's like a trope almost, but then it's true. You're like, are you busy because you don't want to be not busy? But then I said, well, no, Lady Witchbeard just spent like however long you're at the bed and breakfast for that I was getting on your nerves, being by yourself and not busy and, reflecting or whatever. So you probably came to some peace with something during that. And then it dawned on me, well, what do I want? And I guess for me, like, adventure is a bit of a strong word. And then maybe I'm projecting. Maybe, I said, well, if I'm in this pirate realm, I'm not in my realm where I got to do stuff, like figure out which bills while I'm gone I didn't turn on auto pay for. But I guess I'll deal with that when it's over. But for me, it was like looking for that feeling I get when I'm around you, Lady Witchbeard, and when I'm outside of my comfort zone, but you give me some direction or some comfort with your missions or whatever. And that's exciting. And there's a lot of other feelings there, but you're always competent where I'm not so competent, And so I say, okay, well, I guess go along with Lady Witchbeard's adventures. And I said, does it even matter? And then I said, well, isn't it deep down, we're all driven by love of one another or love of piracy? Isn't that the same thing? And I say, well, not exactly. Or reuniting Brandy with her love. But I say, is that really going to happen? I mean, it's in A Man Who Loved the Sea. I say, who's the man who loved the sea? Is that some sort of made-up excuse, or is that real? And I say, well, maybe this is just something curious to you. Why is it like, why do you say, are you almost, Lee, Witchbeard, are you almost done? Because I said, well, there's a curious, and then Brandy kind of went off on her own, and she seems to have some other agenda. And, so Lee, Witchbeard, the balloon is moving. So I don't know. You just wanted to point that out to you, but it seems like you're moving the boat in that direction too. And there's really a lot of fog here. Holy moly! And okay, now it's moving even more to the left. That balloon, or the string. I guess I'm just guessing by the movement of the string. Can't even see the balloon, but I feel like you can see it. So you're moving the boat to the left now. Are you going to need to, like, rest for a while after using all this magic? But I guess you have ingredients that you have from the library. It's cool. They had, like, they didn't have, like, a spell library, but they had that seed library and the dried, whatever that other stuff, like an apothecary, but it was called something else. Tool library. You had to laugh about that, huh, Lady Witchbeard? When I said, well, I remember using the tool library in Berkeley. And she's a tool lending library. Oh, so that must be the ravine. Lady Witchbeard, have you ever heard of that? There's like, I think it's Bryce Canyon, or there's another one. And I don't know if a lot of people take Instagram pictures there, but people used to always post pictures of them going on this thing. You had to make a reservation, and you could only go on this hike for like a few hours a day. I don't think it was Bryce Canyon, though. I think it was, I think it was Bryce Canyon and Zion Canyon are the two of them. So I guess we won't see any UFO. There's, it's the fog starting to dissipate, and there's, a beautiful eagle. Oh, it transformed already into Don Dankle. Well, hi, Don Dankle. It's just me and Lady Witchbeard. It's good to see you. What was it like flying as an eagle? I don't know if you were an eagle or a hawk or what. You flew like an eagle, though, or not to the sea. Daw, thank you. It was very nice. It was enjoyable. And I think this is the canyon, but by the picture in the book, I don't know what we're looking for, other than that it's up this canyon after the fog where we are now. And so I'm just trying to figure out what should we do now. That's a great question, Don Dankle. Daw, thank you for helping me focus. Yeah, I don't know what we should do. There's nowhere I can see where we can hide. And I was trying to figure out a way to figure out if we could figure out when they're coming so that we could, I don't know how they're planning on getting through the fog. So I was like, oh, how are we going to figure this out? But we're here where they want to be. So we definitely have the advantage. Yes, Lady Witchbeard, we do. We just don't have anywhere to hide. So, I mean, there's just, these rocks are all different colors, and the sand is all different colors. So it's got to be one of these layers of stuff, I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm guessing, Don Dankle, that has something to do with the right at the board, like one of these rocks or substances interacts with the fog and the sun in a way that changes its composition into what the binding agent they're looking for, some sort of natural process that's very rare, because where else would you be? Just a very specific thing inside and outside of the fog. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what to do because, Don Dankle, do you have any ideas, or Daw? I mean, it'd be great if we could dress as pirates and then wait for them and then pretend we're with them. Okay, thank you, Daw. Yeah, Lady Witchbeard, I would say we should get rid of the boat. I don't know if we could use the strings in the balloons as some sort of early, some sort of like string them across the strait. It would get caught in the rafters. Or if the balloon height is similar, where you would be able to see the tops of the ships. And then, Lady Witchbeard, I guess I'm with Daw. I'm not exactly sure what our plan is. Yeah, Don Dankel, I don't have a plan either. I think we're trying to think together, the three of us, and this is helpful because I'm starting to think of things. But what our need is, and maybe that's what you're asking, our goal is to get more information. What we do need to know is what's happening. The pirate guilds are closed. All these pirates joined up with Brandy. The guild had some vague warning about Brandy. So Brandy seems to be interested in collecting this ingredient and the nudie-doo for someone. And it has to, I'm guessing, I guess it doesn't have to be related to the root mining, but I think it must be. So we somehow have to gather more information. Actually, believe it or not, I don't think either of your ideas is terrible. Thanks, Lady Witchbeard. Lady Witchbeard, go on. I think we could do both. I will take the boats and try to hide it. I sensed some rocks coming in or just outside, because I assume they're going to be coming in the way we came in at a much slower pace. And what I will do is then I will start to fly and maybe look for any disturbances in the fog or the tops of any masts. And so then I can try to find out more, and then I'll try to either get back and warn you, or I will try to collect information and listen in. Okay, but Lady Witchbeard, I don't think we should. I don't know if, Daw, what was your idea based on Daw's idea? Well, I have this other ingredient I was working on, and if you chew this gum that I give to each of you, you can you'll turn into frogs. Oh, great, Lady Witchbeard. Yeah, so you could just sit here as frogs. I don't see any other frogs, but that's probably fine. And just wait. You could just sit here in the water. Try not to eat too many bugs, Daw. Lady Witchbeard, this is great. This reminds me of, makes me feel like The Sword and the Stone a little bit. Remember when I was telling you about that movie? A little bit, Daw. So yeah, we'll be frogging around, me and Don Dankle. Oh, okay. See you later, Witchbeard. She headed off with the boat. I feel like I'm changing as I'm chewing this go. Don Dankle, you're a frog. I mean, we could still talk to each other though. That's pretty cool. Oh, Germ, you look, you're quite green. Thanks. It's easy being green. It's not easy being green, but right now it is because it's my first time being green. Am I the same color as Lady Witchbeard? No, not at all. You're Lady Witchbeard has a striation. You're a different color than Lady Witchbeard. You're more of a, not a grass green, lighter than a green grass. Oh, that's about the same color as you. I guess maybe we look the same. Maybe we're the same kind of frogs. I guess we had the same kind of gum. Did yours taste a little bit like tar? It did. That was the main ingredient in the gum. Cool. So what do you think? You want to have like a jumping contest or a hopping contest? Or we could do a rib it off, or I've always wanted to see like that, what that feels like to blow up the thing, your chin. Or I don't really want to have a fly catch. We could have like a tongue. We could try to practice like aiming our tongue. Oh, so Don Danko, did you hear that? I did hear that, dog. Just no talking. Okay, Don Danko, but I got to tell you, somebody's coming down the canyon. That sounds pretty loud. Yes, let's move back over here and just, what if we just, okay, too late. They're coming around the corner. It looks like it's a band of pirates. They're coming down the canyon. R. This is what we're looking for, right at the edge of the fog. Just like Captain Brandy said. We'll just wait for her here. She said she'd be here along any minutes. Don Danko, the pirates are talking to one another. Yeah, they are, Daw. I don't think they can hear us talking, though. Oh, you may be right. Maybe we're talking with our minds and not our voices. That would make more sense since we don't. Anyway, Don Danko, they're saying Brandy's coming right along to meet up with them, and that she was brilliant to send them in the back way, but that no one's here. She expected us to be waiting. Yeah, I can hear them saying that. So we should just wait here. Okay. Oh, it looks like they're collecting. She needs only 10 buckets full. They're already starting to collect the stuff. Yeah, they are. And it looks like those two are coming. Oh, they're coming over to sit by us. Don Danko, those two are talking about their favorite delicacy. And that delicacy is on our bodies. Okay, Daw, what do you propose we do? We could here, follow me. We're going to wallow in this muck here. Daw, I don't know. Don't worry, Don Danko. We can breathe through our skin. So we just wallow all the way down in the mud. And see, can you hear me, Don Danko? I can, Daw, because we're communicating by some sort of other method. Oh, this feels good, Don Danko. They should do this as a spa treatment. Turn somebody into a frog and have them wallow in this mug. I can hear them. They're trying to dig to find us. Oh boy, wait a second. Now I hear more voices. Let's maybe if we just do. Okay, they stopped digging because the lady. I think. Oh no, it must be Brandy's yelling at him. Don Danko, you stay hidden. I'm gonna pop my eyes above like a frog, like just to look up. They won't be able to see me. Okay, Daw, what do you see? Oh boy, I see our boat and another rowboat. I see Brandy. She looks a bit like I don't know. She's like a pirate, but like something like I'd say, is that a pilgrim pirate or something? She's very pirate-like, and also she has a bird in a cage. I'm guessing that's Lady Witchbeard. Okay, Daw, what do you propose we do? Here's the thing, Don Danko. Here's what I propose we do. See the buckets of the stuff we're collecting? We hop in those buckets, and we wallow in the binding agent, which is just a different form of muck. And then we'll relax, and then they'll take us on board because they already caught Lady Witchbeard. She looked at me, and her eyes blinked, and her beak opened. So she must not be able to communicate with us. Okay, Daw, so I'll follow. Okay, so let's just get in this bucket. Oh, boy. This is even warmer because it's warmed by the sun. Oh, man, this is so relaxing, Don Danko. Are you in the same bucket as me? No, I'm in the next bucket to you. And they're saying this is going to fetch so much reward. But, oh, boy, this is a reward. And Don Danko, can you feel? You're right, this is the most relaxing state I've ever been in. It's like the muck is 4 or 5 degrees warmer than us, and just enough to relax all the tension I have. And I'm just about to drift off into sleep, and it's great because I know We're amphibians. Yeah, Don Danko. I'm going to fall asleep too. And I guess when we wake up, we'll be on the boat with Brandy and the pirates and Lady Witchbeard, and we'll have to figure out a new plan. We will, This is nice. Good night. Good night, Don Danko. Good night, Lady Witchbeard. I want to thank everyone that became a patron recently. Jennifer, Sarah, and Jeremy. Thanks, and good night. Kudra, Ann, and Michelle. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Carl, Uni, and AR. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Nessa, Olive, and Betty. Thank you, thanks, and good night. Craig, Yogesh, and Richard, thank you, thanks, and good night. Justine, Lenora, and Janice, thank you, thanks, and good night. Alan, Jennifer, and Monet, thank you, thanks, and good night. Patrick, Lucy, and Bex, thank you, thanks, and good night. Marshall, Brianna, and Hundus, thank you, thanks, and good night. Eden, Suanne, and Michael, thank you, thanks, and good night. Zarin, Kim, and Jacob, thanks, and good night. Stacy, Queens, and Tennille, thank you, thanks, and good night. Hillary, Kate, and Rachel, thank you, thanks, and good night. Tabby, Dak, and Billy, thank you, thanks, and good night. Tracy, Carol Ann, and Kathy, thank you, thanks, and good night. Aaron, Megan, and Torborn, thank you, thanks, and good night. Ashley, Fran, and Haley, thank you, thanks, and good night. Jacob and Chelsea, thank you, thanks, and good night. And Jessica, Tori, and Tara, thanks, and good night. Thanks, and good night, everybody. Sleep With Me is able to be here for you for free because of those listeners who support the show directly on Patreon or support our sponsors. And we grow as a podcast by people spreading the word about podcasting, showing people where they're, the joys of podcasts and free podcast apps and playlists and searching. So if you just show somebody, hey, here's how to use a podcast app on your phone. Eventually, those will find Sleep With Me, that Sleep With Me works for. So thanks so much, and good night. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, Scoots here. Before I tuck in, I just want to let you know about our referral program. That's where you can get great rewards for free, just referring people to the podcast. And you can do that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer, R-E-F-E-R. And you just let people know about the podcast. Use this special link. You share it on social media or wherever, you share online. And you could even earn ad-free episodes and the way to get into our, our like little secret club that there's really no way to get into unless you hear an opportunity or you see an opportunity that I announce. And that's our Wall of Fame and our Dream Door Society. And Cornelia is already well beyond that in referrals. So it's very, very possible. And I haven't checked it in the last couple of weeks, but I'm sure a couple other people are up there getting close. But it all starts with that first referral. And you just let people know, hey, this is a podcast that helps me fall asleep, that I enjoy listening to. That's it, sleepwithmepodcast.com/refer, R-E-F-E-R. Thanks, everybody.